entities that are in conjunction with that, domestic violence project, Stark County Family Court, et cetera. And looks like our Sheriff, George Meyer, is going to speak there. And there's also going to be a community candlelight vigil. So.
We don't need a roll call or anything on that, just for proclamation, right?
There's no resolution.
Okay. That'll close out new business. It'll take us to the fiscal officer's report. Turn that over to Mr. Flax.
First item on the agenda is a request for a resolution to authorize the payment of the pending warrants in the amount of $115,256.60 as attached to be part of the minutes.
I will so move.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Saba?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Fiscal officer number 2 is a request for a resolution to authorize the payment of the regular payroll.
So move authority to pay.
Second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Saba?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Fiscal officer number 3 is a request for a resolution by the board to authorize the payment for the following medical claims.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Saba?
Yes.
Item number 4 is the investment report.
Even though it's very arbitrary and early, has anybody from First Merit reached out and just noted any points of any impact we may be seeing just with the merger with Huntington?
Not, my understanding is that for like the next year, everything should be business as usual.
Okay.
I think on the back end, they're merging offices and
Consolidation.
but from my dealings with them here and my dealings with the county, they've informed us that it should be business as usual, at least for another year, so.
Okay.
But I would imagine I mean, with the reputation and history of the bank, I'm sure that they'll reach out.
I think you've got no questions on investment.
Fiscal officer number 5 is the reconciliation. Handed out a copy. I don't think it got scanned in February. I did prepare that, and it's being reviewed this time. Fiscal officer number 6 is a request for a resolution by the board to authorize a refund for overpayments for emergency medical services as requested by Ohio Village.
I'll move on fiscal officer 6.
Second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Saba?
Yes.
Fiscal officer number 7 is we received a new request for a new liquor permit at Earth Fair, which is going to be over there in that new plaza, 39 Everhard Road. It's just whether or not the board would want a hearing. I believe that it was reached out to the sheriff, and obviously it's a new business, so there's no history on it.
I was going to say, I think even the chain of the location of it alone, I mean, historically around that area, there hasn't been any.
Yeah.
Issues, so I would say we go ahead and just move on it.
Yeah.
Don't hold it.
I would agree.
Then fiscal officer number 8, it's a request for a resolution by the board for me to request an additional amended certificate from the county auditor and then to appropriate those funds.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Saba?
Yes.
Fiscal officer number 9 is a request for a resolution by the board to authorize the additional benefits of longevity pay to the members of the Utility Workers Union of America, AFL-CIO Local 561, who met the requirements as of April 1st.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Saba?
Yes.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
And then fiscal officer number 10 is going to be a request for a resolution as well by the board of Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to authorize the issuance of warrants and payments to the Stark County Treasurer. on the amount of $12,260.43, and Alliance Community Hospital on the amount of $148.50.
Also move.
I'll second.
Discussion.
These just appear to be two warrants that I know were submitted by the fire department that did not make the warrant list, so I want to make sure we get the checks out this week.
Any further discussion?
Who was on the second one? I apologize.
Me.
Sabo. Thank you.
Yes.
Roll call.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
And Mr. Lino?
Yes.
And then that'll conclude fiscal officer's report for tonight.
Okay, that takes us to the administrator. Number one, we have L3 car cameras. I believe Lisa's talked with each of us, and the intent here is to go ahead and approve this so it can all be installed by the sheriff's office.
That's correct. And what was it about the bodies?
Yeah, I think that comes with it.
Additional.
Does that come with additional body cameras, I think?
With it.
I think it was, yeah, there was an initial order, and I can't remember how many the Springer said
Yeah.
that were coming in as free, basically.
I'm
They were-
sure that's what she
That
said
came
to
with
me,
it since we
yes.
got the out.
Yes.
Flashback and body vision bundle.
Yeah.
Buy one in-car system with one body worn camera.
That's what I, yeah. I'll move on administrator one.
Second. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Haas?
Yes. Okay, This one takes us to our fire department. Chief Snyder.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number one is a prepared resolution for the purchase of a venturi gas ventilation fan.
I was moving fire department one.
I'll second.
Discussion. Chief, can you just, quick explanation?
The fans that we currently have been using, they were purchased back in '94, so they're over 20 years old. They're gas fans, used for smoke removal, buildings, residents. So they probably outlasted their life expectancy. So these new ones we buy, this would be the fourth one we've purchased over the last 5 years on replacement. Actually, the CFMs is produced with these newer fans are a lot greater than the older ones, so pushes a lot more air, a lot faster, a lot quicker, so for removing smoke and all that.
I've seen those work there. It's amazing. See it. Pretty amazing. No further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number two is authorize a purchase for a Striker model 6252 Stair Pro chair.
I will so move.
I'll second it.
Discussion. Chief, again, similar.
Yeah,
for
just,
folks' sake.
we've, I think this was the last one that we had to replace. We've got a couple old ones that are probably over 20-some years old. So these are nice and economically, for especially moving up and down a set of steps. They actually have treads on them, so you're not actually lifting somebody up and bringing them down a set of steps. They actually have treads, so it just rolls it down the steps or bring the patient up the steps. So,
A lot safer, a lot easier
yeah.
on their backs.
Exactly.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Item number three is authorize construction for a new door between our bay area and our living quarters at our Station 2. Currently, those have a set of double doors. They don't seal at all. And obviously, with the fumes and the exhaust coming into that other side of the building, living quarters, we want to seal it off more, make it a one-man door versus a double door that swings back and forth. So I know Jerry has done some work in some other places in the county, does a real nice job doing that.
I'll move on FD number 3.
Second. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
The last item is number 4, is for the purchase of a Supton Custom Monarch Pumper S2 body on the state bid.
I will so move.
I'll second it.
Discussion. Chief, this will ultimately work to replace.
Place our engine over at Station 3 currently. That's a 93 engine over there. That 93 engine will move into a reserve spot. Our current reserve engine is an 89. So the other 2 engines that will be replaced, so these should be replaced in the next 7, 8, 10 years down the road here, and those are 96s. So, we're pushing over 20 years on the next two engines, so, again, that's why we're building those funds up to replace those for the next few years, to put money aside to replace those other two engines. But this replaced the 93 current one.
As far as too, just for the sake of the public, I mean, we've had good luck with the quality, craftsmanship, and the working relationship with Sutton, but we have taken a look as well at other vendors to see.
Yeah, I mean, the last, obviously, two vehicles we purchased were Sutton's, built in Ohio, down in Columbus. A lot of the parts of the manufacturing of that truck are made in Ohio. I know that was one of the boards talked last time we purchased the vehicle. So as you look there, that there is a discount by paying up front, and an option for it. Just looked at it, and by signing the contract before April 10th, we also get a discount on that too, so, which brings that total price down.
Just for the sake of those in the audience, this is a purchase that was just not presented tonight for the first time in both the goal setting of the department heads, capital improvements, in addition to their capital improvement plan as an ongoing thing. So we knew this was coming. Other ones are actually going to be coming, but we were pretty much up to speed on this purchase, which, by the way, happens to be close to $500,000. So it was not just done that quick tonight. This is an ongoing process.
And some of the money for this was actually started appropriating last couple of years, so.
Chief, on this, as we've talked in the past, where the trucks are pretty well been produced and then shipped, and then we have to have some add-on stuff done later. In this situation, that there's some add-ons that are going to be bundled right into
That's
this
correct.
price.
So the mounting of the equipment and headsets, the last truck we bought, which is really they're putting for hearing protection in vehicles now, is radio headsets so we can communicate with inside the cab. That price is included in this truck along with the mounting boards. We put the last truck we purchased, those were all separate. This time we just worked into one price and through the dealership, so that's good. So we'll see if I have it.
Chief, will you be making these trips again? And
We'll do a pre-con meeting, or the next, once the contract's signed, we'll be going to Columbus to do a pre-con meeting.
this one as intense as you guys did for the ladder truck, or is this one?
They're always intense.
Yeah, they're always dead. Not quite as much as the ladder.
Yeah,
truck.
but, working with the company now for a couple of years now, that, it should go pretty smooth.
Because I was lucky to I got to go down with you guys and when the ladder truck was being just started. And I have to tell you, this company, of course, they've been around since 1890s, but they are, I think, first class. The way they treated us and to see that operation and all those different bays of how these things are put together is just amazing.
It's real nice.
So
We're real pleased with
I
the
wouldn't mind
product.
seeing this one too, just
I can let you know
the first
when-
part of it, how it's getting started, but I know that when I took that first trip, that was intense. And we spent hours in that office, just on one subject.
Well, I just want to make sure I get it right.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure I get it right.
You only get one chance to get it right.
You were like about as thorough as they could possibly be on this thing, so.
But again, it looks like it's
Put it out.
about an 8 to 9 month build out on that, once the order's put in place.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
That's all, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. It's going to take us to the road department. Mr. Iacino.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, item number 1 is a resolution to authorize the purchase of 2 2017 International Dump Truck Chassis from Russian Enterprises under the ODOT Cooperative Purchasing Program contract number 023-15 at $84,738 each. Total amount of $169,476 to be taken out of Fund 1184 with warranties.
I will so move. Second. Discussion, I know, for, again, it's just as John referenced on, the fire truck, we've been taking a look at these even prior to the levy renewal. We've got 2 trucks down there that these will replace.
We'll be replacing 2 1995 models that we will need to discuss on how we want to replace them. Because after the trucks are brought to us, then we have to take them to get the equipment put on at another vendor. So I don't know whether we want to save the beds, take the beds off, how we're going to sell them. I know we've all mentioned having an auction maybe this summer, which would help. The state purchasing, the reason we're even coming at this time, the state, the ODOT cooperative contract is over at the end of March, and they have not awarded it for 2016 yet. So that could take a couple months. So I wanted to get these in so we have them, because last year we waited a little longer because the money wasn't there, and we didn't get the truck till January. So.
The rate will end up having any time for when? This winter?
Yes, and as you can see, we get a pretty good discount by using the ODOT cooperative purchasing. They only went up like a little over $700 from last year. A lot of that's got to do with the EPA stuff that's put on.
EPA, I know, just the EPA add-ons.
Right.
Wow.
They kept the prices pretty
Yeah.
low.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Item number 2 is a resolution to hire Mark William Reed as a summer employer in the road department, employee in the road department this summer.
I will so move.
Second.
From alcohol screening results.
Any further discussion?
Had him last year, right?
But, yeah, he's a great hire.
He does a nice job for both.
Yeah, these both are.
No further discussion, roll call?
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Item number 3 is a resolution to hire Michael Pettit in the road department as a summer employee pending pre-employment drug and alcohol screening.
So moved.
I'll second.
Discussion, roll call?
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes. Trustee Huckrow, if I could ask 2 things. Number 1, I got to see a lot of courts today, and I told you I'd go on record today because it's worth repeating. But I did get to see the gentleman that did it, but they did an outstanding job putting that thing together, very professional.
Did you get the mock one?
Oh, yeah, we were down there.
And also for Trustee Hawes now, I'm going to ask the question. How much money did we save this year in salt? Save
I
that.
told you I wasn't coming till April, but.
I don't know, the first day of spring was Sunday, and there were snowflakes all day
I think we
long.
can ask, let's ask. Might as well get it out there, what did we save?
This is just an educated guess, $120,000.
Is that fuel too?
No, that's
No,
just
that's just so.
Did everybody hear that? 100 what?
20,000.
That doesn't.
I wouldn't say it's a savings, we just didn't spend
We
it.
didn't-
Yeah, it's cost avoidance is what it
But
is.
I'll have a report on my report next month.
Where can that go to right now? If you had to use it?
Right now, we're gonna try to hold on to it because we'll have to see what the salt prices come back for next year.
One tenth of a mile roadway.
Maybe a little more paving.
Can you use that money? What could you use?
Yeah, we can use it for a lot of things.
You could carry it into
I hope I
next year so you don't go
didn't jinx
there.
this, but
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Keep it in the salt fund?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a good place for it.
But again, tell those guys, and I told them today, but just even.
Did I hear you also went for a ride in the sweeper while it was operating today?
Yeah,
I
So
stopped up there
technically, you
too.
were sweeping the roads.
And Joe, to echo Al's comments, I stopped in, I had the dog out for a walk, and like I said just before the meeting, I mean, the rest of that park could implode, those things are still gonna be in place with as many lag/carriage poles and how they're anchored in, but I mean, it's a nice playing surface, and also to have those over there, I know a couple families, personally, that go over there and do their family reunion picnics, and one of them, they watch it with long, instead you're throwing it through the grass, well, now you've got those, of course, and obviously in a more visible location.
And it was Rob's idea to where to put those, he's the one that came up with moving them and putting them in dead shelters, so. And then your guys, your team was there doing their job too. so-
Yeah, they were starting to-
But you did suggest where those should be put, and
Yeah.
there.
The credit belongs to Joe and his guys for all that work.
Yeah.
Just gotta get Robert Roller, that's our only thing we're
We're
gonna.
working on it, yeah.
Purchase a roll.
Because,
You gotta keep them.
I was told I was supplied.
Say that needs to be packed.
You're gonna have to, do
Yeah.
that, you know, probably once or twice a week. Depends on
Yeah,
what the kids
because once
do.
Rainey had said, he said you gotta keep packed.
Don't go there, Joe.
We'll have plenty of time during the community service hours to be rolling it, I promise that. Yeah. No, actually, that's too nice, though.
I got other plans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That concludes road, it's gonna take, nothing under the zoning department.
No, sir.
Not yet. I hope.
You say
Calm
that.
state.
You're building some equity for these.
I'd say,
Future meetings.
grass is growing, I'd say by next 2 meetings, look out.
Parks Department, I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Steinberg.
Thank you, gentlemen. Item number 1, A, B, and C, for Samantha Duncan, Kayla Moody, and Kim Moody, to be hired as parks employees in the concessions area, effective April 1st at a rate of $8.10 per hour, all three from Fund 14A01A, with no benefits, pending the obvious pre-employment drug and alcohol screening results.
I will so move.
I'll second.
Discussion? Any? Roll call.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
And Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Item number 2, I was asked for the board to put on the Veterans Memorial Amenities discussion based on the meeting held here on March 12th as an open house.
Well, guys, I did reach back out to Chad Palmer to see if I could get hard copy prints off of both those. I know he had sent the video links. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to connect because I figured, quite frankly, we know with the two groups that presented
Which are outstanding.
were, yeah, absolutely outstanding. There were still some features of both plans we'd like to select from for that final site design around the Keystone Monument that we've already approved the purchase of and so forth, for the sake of ultimately being able to apply for these grants and, you know, start fundraising and so forth. That being said, I don't know if there's a certain starting point, if at all, for the sake of dialogue here tonight. Rob, I mean, do you have any?
Well, I think the one thing of major concern, I know Joe's expressed it to me personally, is that given the road department's heavy schedule, they're going to help move some of the earth and get concrete in there. I guess my concern would be, A, the design of that pad, and B, I mean, we talked about different ideas for the flag layout around that pad. I think maybe for the primary discussion and primary movement, that might be the best place to start, so things are in place when that monument comes in.
They want that company forward.
Yeah.
Dickerson, yeah, because Dickerson, he actually stopped in here on that Saturday and noted, who else, was it Reliable?
Yeah,
Yes,
Reliable.
Concrete.
Reaching out to them
Yeah.
for potentially an act cost or something on material, but I mean, my initial thoughts, guys, because when I even pitched this whole concept and project, you know, knowing that we're not sitting on cash, just say, hey, go do it, and it truly was intended to pull resources from these, you know, foundations and folks that are really chomping at the bit, honestly, to be able to contribute to this. I mean, my initial take would be to only pour that pad, the size, so as to handle the memorial itself. Because with the plans that, ultimately the plans that we saw, I know the one plan, you know, realistically, that's all it had right there for the Keystone, because then it branched out, there was a combination of green space along with some walkways, and then there would be like a concrete ring. And I mean, I think as much as we all want to make sure it's done right, I also want to stick to my guns that, you know, we're raising the money and getting the contributions, because obviously,
Yeah, we can't.
with the parks being, you know,
Right.
self-funded
We don't have.
for the most part, I think it'd be irresponsible to, you know, go out and move forward. But in order to even do that concrete, even for that pad, I know we've got some light, you know, we're gonna wanna make sure that's properly, where
Good job. We gotta make sure it's gonna be level.
so,
Yeah. The actual work itself between my department and Mr. Dickerson will work out. My thing is, we need to get done as soon as we can, so it cures, as much as it cures before we put all that
That's
weight
true.
on that line.
Dickerson said that too.
Oh, you're,
Once
I
he
mean,
said, once
that's
done,
a
he's gonna be on.
tremendous amount
Yeah,
of force
it's a lot
on
of
that
force.
kind of weight.
It's gonna be a lot of, it's gonna take a good week
And
or
I'm sure
so.
Tom's schedule's gonna get busy too, summertime's coming, so we need to,
I was gonna say, I know he said midway April, May, he would anticipate.
and we'll be, whatever is good for him and the board, my department will make. We'll get there. and do it.
Initially, I was a little concerned about, what we might want to run in underneath there prior to pouring that. But then I thought some more about it, we can always go around it.
If we have to.
Yeah. We can
You're
always,
thinking about what should
a
be
conduit,
in that
conduit,
that
water
needs to
lines,
come up,
gas lines, or
right.
anything at all that, we want to go off maybe in, some bizarre angles or whatever.
We can always lay it, conduit in now.
He could,
When
they
we
could
dig
put,
it.
I mean, they could put the condo in and.
And we may want to do that, just run it at a couple different
In
angles.
the different
so-
angles, case you'd ever have to
Yeah.
put electric there, but then couldn't you just put that in and it would just stop off by the church and then
Absolutely.
connect to it later?
Yeah, we'll just run it
So you
up
could-
and whoever
Yeah.
does the wiring can use it or not use it. or
Yeah.
put it
And I would
in
ask
water or
Dickerson.
Yeah, we gotta
Is that-
make sure that that won't
Make sure
do
that that
anything
doesn't,
to compromise that,
Yeah, does that keep that
weight
concrete
bearing
still stable?
capability.
Right.
Yeah.
So you'd have to ask them if
Yeah.
we were to put some conduit in there,
Yeah, I don't.
does
believe
that keep that
We'll go
concrete
below,
still
yeah.
stabilized? But that's a great idea,
Just
because
think
once
that
the
that's gonna
concrete's
be,
in,
Oh, buddy, that's 4 feet thick.
I think a bad idea.
Well, honestly, would we even have any conduit boring through that concrete? Because, I mean, the angle I'm looking at it from is your lighting's gonna be shooting at it, or are we looking at to have some type of conduit that comes up so it's shooting right up against
Do you
it?
want anything on the outside, on the
You may not
backside?
need any of the inside of that concrete.
That's.
No, I would think that as far as I was only thinking about running it underneath, so if we were gonna do any offshoots of anything,
Yeah.
something in this
Flags,
direction.
the flags,
But I think if we really wanna light that, I think you're right.
Well, I think
I think we
we-
could go right up there.
I think, all due respect for what it is, I mean, outside of the memorial, I mean, one should be lit, but our US flag, it must be lit, fly over there, and I mean, that makes all the world of difference, and I think, that's gonna end up being the backdrop to that, regardless of what plan, design, so I think, if you take it, to get it below the frost line, still, we can
Yeah.
And
around
we're
that.
not gonna be pouring any of the other concrete that, to walk around the monument. At that time, we could, run the conduit out through that concrete for any lighting that we need to do. So this is just for that center 4-foot thick piece.
That's, and we're going with that 24 by 24, or are we shrinking that up?
Well, that's the smallest, the base for the centerpiece itself is a 6x6 slab, but then with those wings, I think it goes,
I think it was like 24 feet from end to end.
Yeah, it was 24 by 24.
Yeah, well, the front and the back, that was additional, so they can walk around.
it's the length is
I
24.
think what we're gonna
but-
do is like a 10 by 24 for the monument
All right,
itself.
okay, all right.
Because of the wing walls, the
Yeah.
wings that are.
Yeah.
Might have to go further, 24 feet to see it all.
Yeah.
Joe, I think the one thing in the side conversation we had, I mean, I know we're saying, hey, let's get the property graded so we can take advantage of Mr. Dickerson's, offer and some in-kind work, but I would ask that for the sake of our staff, keep track of what type of time is invested there, because literally, as we raise funds, I mean, if there's X hours in labor and so forth, well, as we raise
You
it.
talk about our in-house,
Yeah, because I mean, we can say it's not a cost, but
much true.
there's still opportunity cost of, could have been doing some other project,
Correct.
working on, some other project, pulling it in
Correct.
a little earlier. And I don't think we're gonna get pushback from that.
No.
I just don't
Yeah,
want to
but-
do anything until we know we're gonna pour it. I don't want to leave that open up there.
No.
We can't take that chance.
Yeah.
He said he'll be right, once we're started, he said he's gonna be right.
I'll work together with
Can
you.
you,
We're
will you
gonna-
be able to identify what the cost is for the concrete?
Yeah, I can get that for you.
And then send that to all of us, because I think outside the monument, the cost is gonna be concrete, Dickerson's gonna form it and finish it. You know, outside of that, it's gonna be tracking hours on our end as far as the hours. I mean, am I missing? Am I missing something?
Doing all the rebar work's gonna take the
Yeah.
time.
This,
On his end, yeah.
That's all his.
This project for Dickerson, this is almost a passion for him.
Right.
Yeah, he's done others.
He's done it.
Yeah,
That's why he's doing this.
Yeah, he's gonna put his personal fingerprint on this.
That is correct. He will.
So for the sake of right now, in the initial step, I mean, for our department heads and the overall team, is what other clarity is needed for covering all the
I
bases
think we are.
here?
As long as those two work together and know when to coordinate it.
Yeah, and I would just defer to him to let us know what's the absolute minimum we can get away with on that 4-foot thing. You know, if he thinks we should go a little bigger, I would defer to his expertise.
Yeah.
Well, we're doing it right,
Yeah.
one time.
Yeah.
We don't want this moving.
No.
That's for sure. Not to say we don't want the roads.
Okay. Anything else? Okay.
Item number 3, gentlemen, is a resolution for us to purchase 43 5-gallon buckets of black and white field paint and 25 cans of aerosol paint from Pioneer Athletics in an amount not to exceed $3,846 for Diamond Community Park from Fund 14A05C.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Juvie? Mr. Sabo?
Yes and yes.
Includes parks, nothing from our law director. Does take us to communications. I'll turn that over to our administrator, Ms. Campbell.
Thank you. Item number 1 is information from our PIPE committee that we are a member of in conjunction with the Jackson Township Parks. That again, beginning May 25th and then June 22nd, July 27th, August 24th, September 28th, and October 26th. Together we'll be hosting a Gardening with Zest educational series. A number of topics. Last year this was very popular. We had over 140 people participate. So again, we're doing it again this year. And then item number 2 is a communication from the Stark County Recorder's Office. Couple things pertinent to us is to remember for our zoning office to file amendments that we may have had. I don't know if we had any amendments this year. For the Ohio Revised Code, they have to be filed with the Stark County Recorder's Office. And then just some information about the Veterans Day event that was attended. And the Stark County Recorder's Office just did their 5,000 veterans ID card.
Wow.
So and that's the end of communications.
Okay. That brings us to the portion of the meeting, public speaks. If there's anybody in the crowd that wishes to address the Board of Trustees, we just ask that you state your name and address. For the fiscal officer, anybody in the crowd?
Are you guys here for a class or to get credit for attending a government?
We're here for a government class.
Okay. Do you have any questions of us?
Yep.
It hasn't been too painful, has it?
Yeah.
We spent a lot of money tonight, you saw that.
That's not the norm, trust me.
Yeah, that's the
Just have to be time.
Yeah, that's where I'm happy with money, but we did plan budget for that.
Okay.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, that'll close out public speaks. Takes us to concerns of trustees. The one thing I asked to have added on was just the meeting, I'm gonna call it Avondale, it's over there by the Hall of Fame Village where the last meeting, Ms. Tracy Rohr had come. We have ultimately settled on Wednesday, March 30th, 6 p.m. We're gonna meet at Fire Station 3. I'm mentioning this, I know we've already sent a press release out, but I had prefaced even to our friends at the Hall of Fame that we were looking to get something scheduled. Dave Lotz did call me yesterday and said, hey, you know, we're not able to make it. because actually they have the Canton Regional Chamber of Commerce dinner that night, which has Jerry Jones of the Dallas Cowboys coming in, so their entire team's gonna be there, totally understandable. And I told him, listen, we're looking at 20, maybe 25 individuals that are gonna show up. I can't see delaying a meeting for our residents when, we've covered this subject or heard about it a number of times. I did commit that, if there's any questions that come up or any concerning comments, we'll provide that feedback to them. Likewise, I've asked Ms. Rohr to indicate, if they have any questions ahead of time, so we can provide those to the hall so they can send us in with that information. But the Hall of Fame, for sure sake of it, conflict the event that night. And I had already proposed a couple dates to our residents.
Is it just a clear view allotment that's there? Because if we're gonna do something that big, if we're gonna actually conduct a meeting, and I would suggest that you bring the invitations for all that are there, because it has to be a one-time shot, because the others probably aren't aware that we had an individual come in and ask for a meeting. Now, if she's here, how about now, if you wanna make it bigger, include all of the other ones that are on those other streets? If they knew about it, they may be there.
Well, I think part of the press release going out in the paper, you're notifying the area, because, Kevin Shiplett come across it, called Dave, and then Dave actually called saying, hey, I thought we were gonna coordinate.
Much more we can do with this stuff.
So, we've definitely got some limited,
Really not much. I see why we're reaching out to her, because she was here, but
And I think based on what she had to say, there's maybe a little bit of confusion as to what the facts are, and there was a little bit of misunderstanding about Plain Local Schools was going to become Kansas City School District and things like that. I think we just have to set the record straight, at least for that group. And there might be other people out there that have the same questions, but they seem to be a little bit more organized, I think.
Yeah, and I'm glad you clarified that, Mr. Haas, because I did have some members of the press call and ask if the Hall of Fame was going to be there, and I had stated as far as I knew, no, so that clarifies
Yeah.
that.
and the reality is this is a resident issue that comes to
Yeah.
us, so we have an obligation and commitment to provide a timely response and turnaround to them. And quite frankly, for what information is known, has been published, the whole 9 yards,
Yeah.
there's not gonna be any major aha gotchas. And
No.
if there are, well then, guess what? We don't have an answer, we take it back as an action item.
Right, we
can get an answer.
And we provide that information in a follow-up.
Yeah, and I
So,
know Joe and the chief and myself are coming.
so,
Is there
I
a
make
chance
the
that,
recommendation that
is
all.
there a chance that one of you could be pro temp, because I can't make that, I have to pay my obligation.
we
I
can
found out
make,
about it
we
in
can
press
make,
release, so.
we can make that happen.
Because you'll have to take minutes and
Yeah.
record it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right.
He showed me what to do, I'll show him.
That's
We'll
right.
make sure it's taken care of.
Eric's coming.
That's up to you
That's
guys.
a good point.
Honestly, I'm not-
It's a real meeting.
I think the
Well,
law.
I think it's a work session, it's a work.
It's a work session?
It's equivalent of a work session, we're not there to make decisions, we're simply there to engage in communication on what we know. So, for the sake of,
Okay. We'll video it.
Video.
just like,
Oh,
Yeah.
we do our work sessions already.
Yeah.
And besides, that keeps everybody honest, because, hey, since the hall had other commitments, we can simply provide that.
We don't really have a lot of them.
Yeah, but
We do our best. Not much.
And that's
we can
why,
give, but we're gonna be there for
No,
them.
but again, there may be some facts that just need to get clarified.
Well, they can understand where the board's coming from. Because, there haven't been a bunch of these behind closed door meetings, everything's been on the up and up, so. Is there anything else under concerns of trustees?
I think, Anthony, is this your last meeting?
Well, yeah, the 30th would have been.
So, I think we should be giving you some recognition.
I don't need any of that.
on
I
the
appreciate
service
that.
that you did here as our fiscal officer.
The only recognition I can take is the respect that I got from those who were honest with me the whole time, so I'll take that one.
Well, thank you. I mean, I know you were a hard-working fiscal officer.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Anything else? Concerns of the fiscal officer? Okay. Takes us to the approval of the minutes for March 8th, 2016, and I will so move.
Oh,
Later, that was at your special.
no, that's
No,
regular
no,
meeting.
Then I'll second it.
Yeah.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Haas?
Yes. We do have a need for executive session.
Yeah, do you want me just to read it off?
Yeah.
We've got a few here. We've got need for executive session for Ohio Revised Code 12122G, 1A, appointment of a public employee or official, 1B, employment of a public employee or official, 1F, compensation of a public employee or official, 3, a conference with the law director or other retained counsel concerning pending or imminent court action, and 8, which is our economic development provision with regard to negotiations with other political subdivisions and confidential information.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Lino?
Yes.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.